I can't believe I'm saying this, but we are watching a total disaster unfold in the Strait of Hormuz. Everyone told Trump, and I'm not even going to say you guys didn't tell me. Everyone told Trump that his heavy-handed bully tactics in the Strait of Hormuz were not going to work. This guy coming off like a tough guy, they told him it's not going to work. But for one reason or another, he didn't want to listen. Trump's literally been humiliated on the world stage. He led us right into a trap that is looking like might cost us everything. If you thought he handled things well, so did I. If you thought that Trump had a handle on global stability, so did I. But honestly, it's time that you, just like me, need to wake up. Because what I'm about to show you is the moment the art of the deal turned into a nightmare. Like, let's be real. A nightmare for Iran. You see that? That was the bait. That's how I got you in. Tehran is in trouble. The supporters of Tehran literally just swallowed the whole hook, line, sinker, everything because they thought I was going against my boy Trump. And if Trump were wrong, I would go against him. But he's not. While the critics of Trump, the critics of MAGA, were busy writing Trump's political obituary, the U.S. Navy was busy taking out the trash. Iran sent out their mighty fleet of war canoes to intimidate the United States of America. And what was it? These guys literally have put camouflage paint on kayaks. 6 of them tried to come up on a big bad destroyer. What happened? Our people handled business. Our boys in the Navy didn't even break a sweat before taking out, eliminating, obliterating these glorified rowboats. They were literally turned into driftwood. How is that humiliation for Trump? Let's be real. The only thing humiliated right now is the Iranian Navy. Their ego is absolutely in tatters. These guys, let's be real. Iran used to have one of the strongest navies on earth. And now they're in canoes and rowboats trying to attack U.S. destroyers, getting obliterated. Did you hear about earlier? They actually launched a couple of missiles and drones at some of our destroyers. Nothing hit. They got smoked. They got absolutely obliterated. And yet you still have people saying, oh, Iran is in control of the Strait. Please, bro. Please. How are you in control of something that you can't even go in and out of? Like, help me understand that. How are you in control of something that you can't even go? Like, my house, I'm in control of the front door. I can go out that hole when I want to. I can come in it when I want to. How can I say I'm in control of my front door if I can't even go in and out when I want to? They can't even get a DoorDash delivery through that bitch at this point without permission of the United States Navy. They've been reduced from a regional power to a pack of desperate pirates. Let's be real. Let's be real. It's the listen. You say what you want to. You can believe what you want to. You have a right to freedom of religion in this country. You can believe in whatever fantasy you choose to believe in. But you cannot tell me that a country that had warships, submarines, all that, and now they in canoes and rowboats is winning anything. I'm sorry. You can't tell me that. You can't tell me that Iran is in control of the Strait of Hormuz when they can't even leave the Strait of Hormuz or enter into the Strait of Hormuz without the permission of the United States military. Help me understand. But you, like I said, you believe whatever you want, whatever you want. Tell them if they're in control of the Strait of Hormuz, tell them to get a DoorDash delivery through that hole. Bet you they won't. Bet you they can't. A bunch of pirates. Because let me tell you something. Iran, just like my community, is stuck in the classic monkey trap. You know, the one where the monkey reaches into the jar for the fruit, but because he won't let go of the fruit, he can't get his wrist out of the jar. So he stays trapped until the hunter walks right up on him. Iran is the same way. They're so obsessed with this idea of getting a nuclear weapon, and they're clutching it so hard, they're letting their entire country collapse around them. They're letting their infrastructure crumble to dust. They're starving their own people. They're executing their own people for a prize that is actually their cage. You got to feel me on this one. And let me tell you what's worse. While you are ignorant enough to believe that the United States is going to try to invade Iran, and if they invade Iran, well, that's when Iran is going to show how strong they really are. You're wrong. We got some good information yesterday from my cousin, who is a retired Navy cryptologist who definitely has contacts right now sitting in the Persian Gulf on naval vessels. The United States is not trying to invade Iran. The United States is trying to isolate Iran. They are going to starve them out. And the fact that they tried to roll a bunch of war canoes like Kamehameha back in the days of Hawaii against United States destroyers, it shows you exactly how desperate Iran is really getting. Here's the kicker, though. Countries that refused to help the United States of America right now, they're about to entrust the United States Navy to help their tankers get through the Strait of Hormuz. Countries that trash talked America, countries that refuse to let America use the bases we pay for as forward operating bases, are now begging America to escort their ships through the Strait of Hormuz. Because at the end of the day, there's only one force that has the ability to do that on the earth. Let me tell you about the money, right? Let me tell you about the money. This is what I know. The Pookie and Ray Rays on the internet who think they know about what America's going to do and what they can't do and what Iran's going to do, they have no money invested in the Strait of Hormuz or on any tankers that have to get goods through the strait. But if these countries are now entrusting the American military to escort their tankers through the Strait of Hormuz, guess what? That's telling me that the money has been given enough information and proof that America is in control to believe that America can actually succeed in getting their tankers and their cargo ships through there successfully. We are right now escorting ships through the Strait of Hormuz because, let's be real, Iran has no control over anything. Iran is so desperate that they're attacking civilian vessels in an attempt to get America's foot out of their ass. Now, let me ask you that. If Iran is in control and Iran's winning, why can't Iran engage the United States military, man, straight up? They shot drones, they shot missiles, none of them hit. Did you know at the start of this conflict, the Iranian government shot 101 missiles at the U.S. Abraham Lincoln, and not a single one of them landed? The United States is OP. They like Goku right now. This is about the fact that when the world goes dark, let's be real, the United States is a guiding light. It's time for us, Americans, blacks, whites, Latinos, everybody, to stop falling for the divisive tactics, stop falling for the propaganda coming out of Iran, and just stand together. When we stand together, we know the reality. Nobody can touch us. Nobody can touch us. It's like track and field. When you get the black folks on the track running 100, smoking shit, and you get the white boys out there in the pole vault and the discus and the shot put, Ain't nobody messing with us. Can't nobody touch us. When you get the white boys out there on the bobsled and shit, they not messing with us. Recently, U.S. hockey, they can't touch us. And we need to go back to those days. And we need to embrace that mindset and that spirit politically. Let's be real. Like, if you're a person who really wants world peace, right, who do you think has the best chance of actually delivering on world peace? Clearly not Iran. They're willing to destroy the world so they can get a nuclear weapon to destroy the world. They're like, look, we don't want to destroy the world with nukes, but we're willing to destroy the world if you don't let us have nukes. It makes no sense. It's time for us to bring it home. We're one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty, justice for all. And let's be totally honest. We're not going anywhere anytime soon. We're not going anywhere anytime soon. We just have to accept that Iran has no chance in this fight. This country is going to change one way or another. Everything Trump said he's going to do there, he's going to do it. And hating on him is not going to change that. So why don't we just support him so we can get this over sooner rather than later? Propaganda, the idea that people think that they can turn the American people against the president, that's prolonging this. One of the reasons why Iran continues to even attempt to fight is because they believe that Americans are weak and that we're going to turn against the president of the United States at any day now, and the United States is going to be forced to pull out of Iran. Pause. It's like, but that's not going to happen. Trump's his support is stronger than ever. His approval rating might be down, but I'm not going to lie to you. I've never been polled. I've never received a call from a polling company ever. So sometimes I think, like, who are they polling when they ask, do you support Trump? Do you support MAGA? Do you support what's going on in the Strait? What I do know is Trump was at an event down in Florida, I believe, and there was a humongous crowd waiting outside of the event, praying, chanting USA, just basically being so patriotic that, it was very inspiring for a lot of people. And then when Trump got on stage and spoke, I mean, he brought down the house, which he usually does that, and it's it's crazy. But we've gotten to the point where even CNN is having to admit that my boy Trump is in rare form and that the United States Navy is doing what they do best. They are putting belt to ass down in the Strait of Hormuz. And I can't understand why Americans wouldn't be anything but proud. I know there's those of you, the bleeding hearts. Oh, what about the children? Listen, man, Iran was controlled by a terrorist regime, and they're proving that they were nothing more than terrorists by their behavior. Just the other day, they attacked a British oil tanker, and it's like, why are you attacking the Brits? They're like damn near on your side. They refused to help the United States. They went to the UN to condemn the United States, and they're not getting involved in the conflict. And those are the people you attack? Then they attack UAE, who's supposed to be like their brothers under Islam and their business partners. Then they attack India, and India is supposed to be one of their closest allies. The Iranians cannot be trusted. The IRGC cannot be trusted. And they're showing themselves to be exactly who we thought they were. Nothing more, nothing less. They are exactly who we thought they were. A bunch of terrorists who somehow managed to take control of a country. And now, at the behest of the people of that country, guess what? We're going to help them take that country back. So Iran can be a real true global citizen. Not just talking, not just trying to use, international law to hide their intention, their demonic, satanic intentions. So let's look at this clip right here, and CNN will tell you what's unfolding. The mighty Iranian Navy is trying to go up against the United States Navy.
The U.S. and Iran trading shots in the Gulf, threatening an already fragile ceasefire. Today, the U.S. military says it blew up 6 Iranian small boats in the Strait of Hormuz after Iran launched, quote, multiple cruise missiles, drones, and small boats at U.S. Navy ships and commercial vessels. The exchange of fire happening just hours after President Trump announced that the U.S. will begin helping guide stranded ships out of the strait. Meantime, the UAE is accusing Iran of renewed missile and drone attacks, the first since early April, including a drone strike on an Emirati oil port, causing a large fire and injuring 3 people there, according to officials. Let's go to CNN's Kristen Holmes at the White House right now. So, Kristen, what is the administration saying as tensions with Iran appear to be escalating?
It's not just the tensions that are escalating, Boris. We're also hearing it in President Trump's rhetoric. He just did a brief phone interview with Fox in which he said essentially that if the Iranians target U.S. ships in the area, that they will be, quote, blown off the face of the earth. Now, during this interview, he also said that the Iranians were more malleable now, that he did believe that there could be some kind of negotiation that led to a deal. But I've got to tell you, we are in a very different place now than we were at the end of last week. I was hearing from U.S. officials at the end of last week, senior administration officials who were saying that they felt really good about the direction that this was going in. Instead, now we're starting to see this really seem to devolve. And President Trump posted on social media about what we were seeing in the Strait, saying Iran has taken some shots at unrelated nations in respect to the ship movement. And he also noted it was a South Korean cargo ship. Then he essentially says that maybe South Korea should join them on this mission, talking about the war in Iran. And then he goes on to talk about the fast boats, which we've heard about, and then that tomorrow there's going to be another one of these press briefings by the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, and the Chairman of Joint Chiefs of Staff, Dan Kane. But where we are right now, talking to these officials, is it does not seem as though they are in a place where they feel that they can get to some kind of agreement here, which is very different again than what we heard at the end of last week.
Kristen Holmes, live force at the White House. Thank you so much. Let's turn to CNN national security correspondent Natasha Bertrand. Natasha, what are you learning as the U.S. and Iran are trading strikes now?
Yeah, Boris, our U.S. Central Command Chief, Admiral Bradley Cooper, he held a call with reporters earlier today, and he kind of outlined how the U.S. military is going about trying to guide these commercial ships through the Strait of Hormuz, essentially via a huge U.S. military presence that involves guided missile destroyers, over 100 land and sea-based aircraft, unmanned platforms, so things like Reaper drones, and 15,000 service members who are now stationed there to respond, essentially, if Iran does attack any of these ships trying to pass through the strait. And that is exactly what happened this morning. According to Admiral Cooper, the Iranians began launching drones, cruise missiles, and small boats at some of these ships, including U.S. Navy ships. And the U.S. military then
So at this point, because you watch this channel, you kind of know a little bit more than what they are saying on the news. We know now. Well, this is where the smart money is, based on some very reliable sources. We believe that the United States is going to try to isolate Iran. They're going to try to basically block Iran from any engagement with the Strait of Hormuz. And according to reports, guess what? Many of the countries surrounding the Strait of Hormuz, like the UAE, etc., they are on board with this. They're tired of losing money. They're tired of Iran shooting missiles into their countries. So these countries are in total support of the United States basically escorting these ships and suffocating Iran and keeping them away from this Strait of Hormuz that they claim to be in control of. That's what we know. That's what we understand. Now, you guys just got to tell me. I mean, I need the people who are rooting for Iran, because we know you're out there. You're out there. Just tell me, what is Iran going to do to counteract what the United States is doing? You're saying that Iran is just waiting and laying low, waiting for a U.S. ground attack. But what I'm saying is, okay, but what if the United States never enters the country? Because we see that the United States is totally capable of dealing with whatever firepower that the Iranians have. Even CNN, they hate Trump. Even CNN, who was allowed access into the country of Iran in the middle of the conflict, they're even saying, hey, it's looking like Iran can't do anything. The United States is, they're 15,000 troops, all types of Reaper drones, all types of aircraft, all that just sitting right there in the strait. If the United States walks right into Iran's backyard, shouldn't Iran just be obliterating them? Because you'll talk about how Iran destroyed this and that many U.S. bases that were empty, no soldiers were even on them. Well, the ships, the aircraft carriers, they're closer than any base. They're right there on your doorstep. So why don't you just unleash hell and shoot all your missiles at them? They're right there. It's like you're in your house and someone's sitting in your fucking bathtub and you're like, yeah, we're in total control, but they're right there. That's my question. No. You guys, listen. This is an open forum. Anybody who wants to come tell me how Iran is in control, how Iran got this on lock, but the United States is sitting right in their backyard with 3 aircraft carriers, a gang of destroyers sitting right in the Strait of Hormuz. They're moving more troops into the region. Please tell me, why isn't Iran wiping them out? Why isn't Iran wiping them out? I'll tell you why. Because everything that Trump and the military set out to do, they're doing. They obliterated their military. They reduced their navy to nothing. They destroyed their air force, nothing. And their military is in shambles. They killed all their leadership. So now the country, the military apparatus and leadership apparatus of the country has totally splintered. And all the evidence that we're seeing now is confirming that. I am just waiting for Iran to throw a rock, do something to the United States military so that we know we're still in this thing. This is the equivalent to watching a boxing match. The other fighter is laying flat on his back and being counted out, but someone on the sidelines is still screaming that he's winning the fight. You got to show me. All my people in the audience who support me, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to this channel. This is an American First channel. And what we're going to do on this channel, we're going to keep on calling out the naysayers. We want proof. Stop screaming to me that Iran is winning, but you can't show me any wins. Show me. Because the Strait of Hormuz is looking like the Gulf of America right now. But yet they're winning. These dudes literally tried to take canoes out. Canoes out to fight against destroyers. If that ain't a sign of desperation, bro, I don't know what is. And let me tell you the real win here. Trump now doesn't even need congressional approval. He's basically sent Congress a letter saying, hey, the conflict is over. So when we did the ceasefire, that ended the war part. Now we're just over here as escorts while still kicking Iranian ass and tearing up their boats, their fake navy, and their obliterated air force. So now he could stay over there as long as he wants. Dude, this guy did a master class on how to beat your enemies at their own game. And they were saying that the United States was doing piracy. Now they're the ones doing piracy. They're going after ships and boats, merchant vessels of countries that weren't even involved in the conflict. They're done, bro. And you can say what you want. Like I said, we have a freedom of religion in this country. You can believe whatever you want. But just like that guy said on the Pelican Brief, it's not what you believe, it's what you can prove. And at this point, you can't prove anything. You out here desperate. And you know what's so stupid? You know, it's a real sign of like this woke culture, because you never thought you'd see the day where people were so hard pressed to find a reason to go against their own country. People are out here scouring the internet trying to prove that the country that they live in is losing and is weaker than like a third world terrorist regime run country. Like, why? Who prays to blow up their own house? Who prays that their own house falls down? That's how you know these people are in psychosis. You're praying that the country that you live in is destroyed by a terrorist group, a terrorist regime. It will never sit right with me. We can never let these people ever control the levers of power in this country again, because they've shown that they're anti-American. They show it every day.
responded by blowing up about 6 of these small Iranian boats using Apache and Seahawk helicopters. Now, it's important to note here that Admiral Cooper did not say whether or not this means that the ceasefire is over, given that the Iranians and the Americans are now trading shots essentially in that strait. He would only say that the U.S. is going to continue to act defensively to try to protect these ships as well as, of course, its own assets. And one other thing is that he really emphasized that there are no escorts going on right now of these commercial vessels in this area by the U.S. military. Instead, they say that this kind of overarching defensive package that they have built up in that area is creating deterrence. Now, the Iranians, they might have a different perception of that because, of course, they continue to try to take shots at these ships in the waterway. But the U.S. military is saying, look, it's better for us to have this big overall presence here rather than escort each ship one by one through the strait, which could actually leave them more vulnerable in the end, Boris.
The conflict overspilling from the tensions in the Strait of Hormuz back onto land, back to where it was before the ceasefire went into place almost a month ago, as well as those missiles from Iran hitting the UAE, well, 3 intercepted, as you say, 1 hitting that port of Fujairah. Also in Oman, a tiny seaside hamlet in the peninsula that sticks up into the Strait of Hormuz, that was hit, 2 people injured in a civilian residence there as well. So not just limited to the UAE, but Oman as well getting dragged back into this. As CENTCOM has been saying, they've been able to support what President Trump is calling Project Freedom, and that is an effort for humanitarian reasons to guide commercial vessels that have been stuck now for 2 months inside the Gulf, out through the Strait of Hormuz, out to deliver their goods to the rest of the world. That has involved at least 1 guided missile destroyer, according to CENTCOM, passing through the Strait of Hormuz today and getting into the Gulf. 2 U.S.-flagged commercial vessels making it out, but then a confrontation, according to the Iranian media, IRGC, saying that they confronted with rapid and quick actions preventing a U.S. naval vessel getting into the Strait of Hormuz. At least one Iranian media saying that there were shots fired at the U.S. vessels. Now, CENTCOM has denied that. Now, what does that very complicated and rapidly developing picture look like? It looks like what was conversations about a talks process has turned into significant kinetic activity. The Iranians, though, the ball is in their court to respond to the proposal put to them by the White House over the weekend.
Nick, is it fair to say that this is still technically a ceasefire if you're seeing that kind of attack against Gulf allies and the U.S. responding against these boats in the Strait?
So basically, the United States whoops feet, and then Iran comes and says, "Well, we took some shots at a U.S. ship too," and then the media reports, "Oh, Iran shot at the U.S. ships," and it's like, okay, you could shoot all day, but what's happening? Are you hitting anything? Are you sinking anything? Because when the United States today, the United States can tell you, and CNN confirmed this. They hate America. CNN's confirming the United States destroyed 6 Iranian fast attack boats. That's being reported all across the world, media from everywhere. Now, just tell me, what did the Iranian regime destroy? I'll wait. Just tell me, what did the Iranian regime destroy? Let's go one for one. We done destroyed the Navy. We destroyed the Air Force. Today, we done took out 6 of these so-called fast attack boats. They're really just canoes and kayaks and and lifeboats with motors attached to the back. So we took down 6 of they little joints. What did they destroy today of America's? I'm just waiting. Somebody put in the comments, they destroyed our economy. You're paying like $1 more for gas. You're paying $1 more for gas. We're paying $1 more for gas doing freaking Michael Jackson dances on TikTok. and you're saying the economy is destroyed. As a matter of fact, gas is a little cheaper by me today. I pointed that out this morning. Actually, last night, gas went down like 30 cents where I'm at, and I'm in Cali. No one pays higher gas costs than Cali, bro. So we're watching it. We're watching it. So y'all complain about $4. Our gas was $6. Well, I just saw it went down to $5.59 right here, and it was $6. So it's going down. But what I'm asking you is, show me, because their economy is losing $500 million a day. Your stock market is at record highs right now. So just understand. Listen, I'm tired of people calling a win a loss. You know, I sometimes quote the Bible. The Bible says, woe to anyone who calls a bad thing good, or calling a good thing bad. Stop like just saying anything so you can like go against the country. Let's talk facts. Let's go balls and strikes. What did Iran destroy today in that Navy? What conventional military vessel did they destroy today? They didn't destroy anything. Do you guys know 29 ships went through the Strait of Hormuz? 29 cargo ships went through the Strait of Hormuz today. Iran didn't do shit. 29 cargo ships. Guess what? Today is 29. Tomorrow it'll be 50. After that, it'll be 75. Then it'll be 100. Then it'll be back to 130, which is the normal amount that go through each day. People are literally like angry because Trump's not losing. That hurts them somehow. It makes you angry that your country is strong. That's the wildest thing ever. It makes you angry that your military, which you pay $800 billion a year for, is strong. Why would I be angry about that? That's stupid. I'm ecstatic about that. We pay for it. It's effective. It's doing its job. Meanwhile, China's looking like our little punk. Russia's looking like our little hoe, right? And the rest of these countries that thought they wanted smoke are just quiet. They real quiet right now. United States over there doing whatever they want. And let me tell you, I'm old enough to remember arguments on Facebook, arguments on Instagram, arguments on YouTube where people were telling me that if the United States ever went at Iran, China would do this, that, and the third. If the United States ever went at Iran, Russia and China come together in BRICS and la, 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 la. Where they at, bro? We on their front line calling them out. And they in the house peeking through the blinds, scared. You're mad because our society has gotten to the point where we look at strength as a bad thing. Anyone who is strong is therefore bad. And then we got this narrative going. Oh man, look, everybody's mad at the world. Everyone's mad at Trump. Oh, the world is laughing at us. All this stuff. Listen, the world is not laughing at us. The world is literally celebrating the United States right now. They're celebrating the United States because the United States is under a president who has the balls to do what is necessary. We are so mad. I talked about Africa, right? I was literally like, I remember going to Kenya in 2020, and Africans being like, they hate Trump, they don't like Trump, this, that. They got 4 years of Biden trying to exploit them, right? And now they love Trump. Now they love Trump. They got 4 years of Biden and Kamala Harris trying to push the LGBTQ agenda in their countries. Now they love Trump. They absolutely love Trump. And they're telling us that in no uncertain terms. Yeah, Africans mess with Trump. We like Trump. We deal with Trump, right? And Trump is literally gaining ground
President Trump
among Black American voters. People don't understand that. They don't know why, but I'm telling you, his approval rating is up among Black American voters. Africans love him, and his overall approval rate with his base is at 100%. What more do you want? You didn't vote for him, so of course we don't expect you to like him. But your attempt to make us not like him is not working. And we know that's really what you need. You want MAGA to turn on Trump, and we're not going to do it. We're not going to do it.
President Trump celebrated after the Supreme Court's decision. Here's that moment.
When did it come out? Just now?
No, it came out this morning, but basically very much narrows the Voting Rights Act.
Was it considered a win for who?
A win for Republicans.
I love it.
CNN's chief data analyst Harry Enton running the numbers on this one. Harry, let's kind of baseline it for everyone right now. How is the president doing right now with African-American voters, with black voters now versus this point in the first term?
Yeah, I think what we're seeing right now in the numbers is President Trump and the Republican Party are chipping away at the long-term advantage that Democrats have had with black voters, with African-Americans. You can see it right here. Look, Trump's approval among African-Americans at this point in term one, he was at 12%. You know, he's been losing ground with a lot of groups. He's gaining ground with African Americans. He's up to 16% at this point. And you say, this isn't that big of a shift. But I will tell you, Republicans absolutely love this shift that's going on because Democrats have had such a long-term advantage. The fact that he's actually gaining ground versus where he was in term number one, this has major implications for elections down the line because Democrats, especially in a lot of these tight races, you talk about places like Georgia, right down in the South, you see this type of movement for Trump actually gaining ground. This could have major ramifications and help put Republicans over the top in a number of southern places in the midterm elections.
But do you see this as part of a bigger trend?
I see this as absolutely part of a bigger trend. Donald Trump's Republican Party is absolutely gaining ground, not just him gaining in terms of his approval rating, but look at the party ID margin, Kate, because this to me was absolutely stunning. Look at this party ID margin among African Americans. At this point in Trump term number one, Democrats had a 63-point advantage. That is absolutely fallen. Look at where it is now. A double-digit shift away. Democrats, of course, still have the advantage, but it's a 12-point shift to the Republican Party. And I look back through Gallup's records. They sent me their records. And this, in fact, lead that Democrats have is actually smaller than any lead from 2006 to 2021. So Democrats are leading. But again, we're talking about chipping away. Republicans are chipping away at this long-term advantage that Democrats have had among African Americans. We see it in terms of Trump's approval rating, and we even see it to a wider degree among the party ID margin, where all of a sudden there are a number of African Americans who are walking away from the Democratic Party and a number of them who are walking into the Republican tent.
It's over. We win. Get mad. Take your ball. Go home. I don't want to play no more. It's over. We win. Me, I voted for Trump 3 times. I knew this day was going to come. Now, let me tell you this. So CNN hates Trump. So for them to report this, you know it has to be true because they're taking every chance to down Trump that they could get. But I'm not just going to stick with CNN. This morning, the Breakfast Club, led by Charlemagne the Devil, they posted on Facebook a little secret poll, a little secret post that they thought no one would really pay attention to, right? And on the post, they said, what type of pain has the Trump administration caused you? I'm surprised that they didn't take this down. I'm kind of shocked that they didn't take this down, right? Because they didn't get the result that they wanted. They definitely didn't get the results that they wanted. Here we go. Look, first one. Besides the gas hikes, I got everything I voted for so far. Now I know goodness well all these YouTube people, white people commenting are not fans of the Breakfast Club. So they got to throw the doubt in there. They're not fans of the Breakfast Club. Look, Cindy McMahon, 150,000 bump in 401k. Ooh, so painful, right? Being sarcastic. Back pain from my wallet, getting tired of making too much money. The pain of extreme happiness. None. My life hasn't changed. Only my 401k has gotten bigger. Financially, gas, groceries, and everyday purchases. Mentally, I have morals. Just because it may not directly affect my household, I still care for my fellow man. You know that's a liberal. Nothing. He's making the country great again. The pain of not having my overtime pay taxed. None. I've got the greatest president. My 401k is doing great. My tax clients saw the biggest tax savings /refunds ever. Ask around. This person, there's not enough room on here. Pain relief. Laugh out loud. How long do you have? the pain of knowing how effing stupid half the country is for supporting him, even though countless numbers of reasons. They'll never give you a reason, right? They'll never give you a reason. Everyone's like, oh, there's not a list long enough. But do you notice how the people who support Trump, right, they literally are telling you exactly how this administration has helped them, right? This person says, I don't have TDS, so none. No president caused me pain. Nothing more than the last administration, Republican or Democrat. You ain't winning. One party is too rigid and stubborn and the other is too weak and spineless. None. I have a big God that does. So these are the black people. They're just like, it ain't hurting me. It ain't bothering me. I'm going to call Top Dog Law. I said day one that he is just not a nice person. I love this comment right here because this is the comment that tells it all. I said day one, he is not a nice person. So this person is voting for president based on who's nice. I truly believe he is void of emotion and missing an empathy chromosome. I also feel he had a horrible childhood and he allowed it to shape how he became as an adult. I'm no psychologist. We knew that. This is just conjecture. I'm dual and so are my kids, but I encourage them to use their Canadian passport when traveling abroad. See what I'm saying? You ask these people, how is Trump hurting you? Okay, gas is a bit high. Beyond that, nothing. This is an African. Chinoso Bede Ukwakwe. Best president ever. None. Greatest president in my lifetime. Even here in Africa, we are feeling it. Everything is going and has gone up. Thank you, MAGAs. Come on, let's be real. I was just in Africa. Everything's cheap still. What a little reverse psychology going here. They ain't working. Zero because I mind my business. Hunger pains. He's doing great. Mortgage rate. No pain. Nothing. I serve God. All this money I'm making means more trips to the bank. All good here. All good over here. See, that's what I'm saying. Where's this pain? We get the pain at the pump. We understand that. But just tell us what's happening. No, the stock market is booming. Stop it. Okay, I'm not going to entertain like lies. If you have a opinion, the link to the stream to come up and express your opinion is in the comments. It's right here. I just put it in there again. But this is what I'll tell you guys. The liberals, they never want to have a conversation about what they actually are complaining about. They complain, but their problem is Trump. Their problem is not anything Trump is doing or has done. Their problem is Trump. He ain't going nowhere for 2 years, guys. You already tried to take him out with the one Cole Thomas Allen guy. Yeah, it didn't work. I'm expecting 2 or 3 more assassination attempts before the end of his term. But as for right now, Trump's doing his thing. He's going strong, and there's nothing you can do about it. And his support is up among the African American community.
That is very interesting looking at that past Gallup information.
Yeah.
What does this mean for the race
Thomas.
for control in Congress?
What?
Okay, so you see this right here. You see this 51-point advantage that Democrats have, significantly less than you see that 63-point advantage. And what we will note was back in 2024, right, Donald Trump put in a historically strong performance among African Americans. Democrats performed the worst in a generation. Have they gained any of that coalition back from where they fell down to in 2024? But take a look here. Okay. Choice for election among African Americans. Kamala Harris was leading amongst that group in the pre-election polling by 63 points. Are Democrats gaining back any of that ground? It's a 62-point advantage now. Republicans are holding on to the gains that they made among African Americans in 2024. Republicans are gaining among African Americans. They are chipping away at that long-term advantage. The Donald Trump-led Republican Party is making gains among African Americans that we simply put have not seen the Republican Party make in a generation.
Fascinating. Good to see you here. Thanks
Nice
so
to
much
see
for
you,
putting
Kate.
it together.
6 justices all but threw away the Voting Rights Act of 1965. Now, they left the words on the paper, but they erased the meaning. The way poll taxes and literacy tests and jelly bean counting tried to negate the 15th Amendment that gave Black people the right to vote. Why? Because voting is the single most important power in a democracy. Not just the act of going to the polls and filling in some bubbles. No, it's the ability to vote for your candidate of choice. Now, you are not entitled to vote for the winner, but gerrymandering districts can mean that your power is so watered down that you never even had a chance to choose who represents you or pretends to. Enter Louisiana. The court struck down its map today, saying that lawmakers illegally used race to draw a majority black district. At the heart of the ruling was Section 2 of the Civil Rights Act that LBJ signed. And before I explain Section 2, why don't you listen to what LBJ said when he signed it into law?
Is that the part where he said we'll have these N-words voting Democrat for the next 50 years? Is she going to play that recording, or is she going to play some nonsense to try to make you think that the Supreme Court just wiped out black people's ability to vote? Hey, listen, the gerrymandering stuff is so funny because the Democrats have done so much gerrymandering. There are entire states that have 0 Republican seats in the House. None. There's a laundry list of states that have 0 Republican representation, but their state is actually almost 50% Republican. Now they want to talk about gerrymandering, and that's okay. Say everything you want about gerrymandering, but when they start lying, saying that black people have now suddenly lost their right to vote, that's where I draw the line. If what you're saying is true, if the cause you're fighting for is righteous, why do you have to lie? Why do you have to lie to get your point across?
Millions of Americans are denied the right to vote because of their color. This law will ensure them the right to vote. The wrong is one which no American in his heart can justify.
Ensure them the right to vote. Section 2, it tried to prevent racial gerrymandering precisely because it diluted voting power. And that's now all but out the window. And already today, we saw Republican candidates across Alabama and Georgia and Mississippi and Tennessee and South Carolina and others all push for the maps to be redrawn to benefit their party.
Yeah, 100% lies. These people just, the Democrats have gotten so far gone with their lies that even people who are traditionally Democrat, even young people under the age of 30, they just had enough. They're literally saying, look, I can't do it with the Democrat Party anymore. It's total lies. The Voting Rights Act was put in place so that race would not be taken into consideration with voting. It literally was put in place so that race would not be taken into consideration when district maps were drawn. So now that the Supreme Court has removed these districts that were drawn up just because a certain number of people of a certain race lived within those boundaries, that is doing, that is fulfilling the purpose of the Voting Rights Act. We don't want race to play a role in our elections. We don't want race to play a role in how voting maps are drawn up. So we eliminated the districts that were drawn up specifically based on race. And now black people and the Democrats that benefit from lying to them are like, hey, you took away my racial advantage. You took away my ability to put someone in office based on the color of their skin. Well, isn't that what civil rights was trying to stop? If you wanted color of skin to determine who went into Congress or who went into the Senate, then you should have never fought for the Civil Rights Act, because the Civil Rights said we want to remove color from the conversation. So why are you now mad and ready to fight because we've removed color from the drawing up of district maps? It's a contradiction. This is a contradiction. I will give any black person, I will give anybody $100 if you could get up here and tell me how eliminating districts that were drawn up purely based on color, right? How is that violating the Voting Rights Act? Let's be real. The Democrat Party always pumps up race. What color you are, oh, you're a victim, you're a marginalized group. We're a coalition of victims, right? And we're going to use pretending to care about their problems as a springboard to get into the White House. Listen, Joe Biden said, I'm going to pick a vice president and she's going to be black and she's going to be a female. He said, I'm going to pick a Supreme Court justice. She's going to be black. She's going to be a female. Doesn't that go against civil rights? Because once Joe Biden said that, he eliminated every white person, every Asian, every Mexican, everything else from having an opportunity to be selected or appointed for those positions. That's called discrimination. That is 100% discrimination. And guess what? Everyone's tired of it, especially the young people who have been working with the Democrat Party, because they're realizing, right? They realizing that, hey, I'm slowly being pushed out because I am no longer useful to the Democrat Party. Check this out. Young Dems are done with the Democrats. They are voting Republican now, and they're telling their truth, and they're realizing as they're getting a little bit older, because we're about 15 years into this thing now. So the ones who were 20 back when it first started, they're turning 30, 35, and they're realizing, wait a minute, constantly, trying to play the victim is not helping me. And then when I go to my party and try to speak to them about some things that I don't understand or I'm not happy with, being totally shut down and turned against like a pack of wolves, that's not working for me. Check this out. Young Dems fed up with the Democrat Party.
I'm no longer a Democrat because I'm a liberal. At this point, it's beginning to feel like I'd be better off voting Republican and fighting against bad ideas within the Republican Party than voting Democrat and fighting against bad ideas inside the Democratic Party. For example, when I bring up concerns I have with friends on the right about like LGBT rights, immigration issues, abortion, gun control, more often than not, there is room for finding some kind of a middle ground. But when I bring up concerns I have with people on the left about anti-Semitism, Islamism, communism, more often than not, the response is either intimidation, condescension, or just a demand for complete obedience. When your politics require people to submit to orthodoxy, that is not liberalism, that is fascism.
So we got to talk about it.
So the young liberals, they're starting to see that the people who recruited them with this lie, oh, we're going to fight against fascism, we're going to fight against racism, we're going to fight against discrimination. Well, the way that they're fighting against racism, fascism, and discrimination is by implementing authoritarianism, where you have to think like we think, where you have to believe like we believe, and if you don't, you're going to get shut down, and we're going to start attacking you maliciously. This precious young white angel, this female, she's going to tell her story about how the liberal mob turned on a woman because she had a transgender child and she chose to use that child's actual name that the child was given at birth, along with the name that the child chose for themselves when they became transgender. And all of a sudden she's receiving death threats and everything else. These people are monsters. Like, what does Nietzsche say? Beware that when you stare into the abyss, what does it say? Beware that when fighting monsters, you do not become one yourself, or something like that. Like, that's what happened. The Democrats were like Don Quixote. They saw like these windmills and they thought they were monsters, right? But in the act of like fighting and conquering these monsters, they became exactly what they claimed they were fighting against. And the young people are realizing it now.
I'm officially coming out as a Republican. The left has truly swayed me over to the right. And I think they're proud of it too, because all of this stupid controversy going on because of a comment that I made on a TikTok video. The left mob is absolutely losing its mind. And I used to be on the left. I used to be gung-ho LGBT. I was an activist for the LGBT people before they, like, gays even had a legal right to marry. I was going out and I was a Glenson representative in my school district. But at this point, I don't want to be associated with the LGBT either, despite even being gay, because I can't stand y'all anymore. Like, I make one comment about a grieving mother who was very respectful about how they were referring to their trans child, by the way. They were referring to them as both Michael and Lexi. And in the comments of people that actually knew her child were referring to her child as Michael. And she was shit on in the comments for referring to her child as her son. Because the left, the trans mob, will never accept that. They can't let a woman who is taking responsibility for not being a present enough mother, for not loving her child enough, for who's trying to be a better person and being vulnerable in her grief journey, it's still not good enough. So they have to shit all over her and kick someone when they're down, right? Because that's the righteous thing to do if you're part of the trans mob, insane, like, liberal left.
Yeah, I mean, this is par for the course. I mean, I'm not surprised at all. She's just realizing what...
Guys, what I want you to notice, that nobody probably, well, maybe you guys will notice it, but nobody mentioned this or commented about this in the video, right? This young woman is sitting in a cubicle. She's at work. And let me tell you something. When you're putting in hours and hours every day at work, you really don't have time to play games with people. You really have less time to go and get on the internet and hate on people and, you know, try to put people in like gotcha, you know, try to get gotcha points on people with this stupid liberal ideology. I promise you, these people turned on this lady because she wants to call her kid what she named that child at birth, right? And these people attack her. But like I was telling my friend when we were both watching this video, like I was telling my wife when we were both watching this video, if you had said that if you did that to one of their mothers, they would be all over you. There's this certain this shield of anonymity, right? That like people believe that they have on the internet, to where they'll behave a certain way when they're on the internet, but behave a totally different way in real life. And it's like, why not just be a good person all the time? Why get on the internet and turn into a demon and a tyrant, but then in real life, you're trying to act like a normal person?
To be honest with you.
So I make a comment just basically supporting the mom, saying, you have every right to refer to your child as your son. Apparently that's the worst thing you could ever possibly do as a human being, because I have people coming onto my page, screenshotting my TikToks to shit on my appearance and put it in the comments there. Meanwhile, they look identical to me. They're just white liberal women just flooding the TikTok, that they look like me, like basic white girls.
Yeah. No, that's the demographic that's running the Democrat Party, right? That is running the far left, okay? Leftist white women, okay? Yeah. They're the most radicalized out of everybody, to be honest with you.
But they're going to...
And I tell people this all the time. The same thing Greg is saying. Go look at the crazy leftist Caucasian women, and that is your leader. When Karen is your ally, I remember like black people, my group, I remember we used to talk about Karens, right? Karen called the cops on me when I was barbecuing with my family at the park. Karen called the cops on me when I was just shopping in the grocery store for food for my kids. Do you guys notice how black people went from being at war with white Karens to all of a sudden siding with them against Trump? Put a 1 in the comments, whether you're black, white, blue, or green. Put a 1 in the comments if you noticed how black America went from being at absolute war with white liberal Karens to literally taking sides with white liberal Karens to go after Trump. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that wild as hell? We were 5 years ago, we were the victim of Karen. Now we're on her side fighting Trump. And we could understand how ignorant and ridiculous Karen was, right? When she was going after us. But when she went after Trump and told us, you should hate Trump too, we jumped right on the bandwagon with her. But don't nobody want to talk about that though. Nobody want to talk about that. So I love this. Hey, Didi Sarason, I wish you would come up here. This person is now saying black America was never at war with white liberal women. Well, I know our children are at war with them because that's what what's the lady who started Margaret Sanger? Yeah, she got us to this day. We eliminating our kids with abortion. So yeah, if we ain't at war with our fetuses, our unborn children are definitely at war with them. I'm telling you, I feel like we've been at war with the white liberal Karen, since we left out of slavery, maybe even back when we were on the plantation. You saw that movie Rosewood. Stop playing. But this is how the left gets you. They rewrite history. They want you to forget what you've dealt with. You have to forget what you've dealt with so that you can actually take their side. And you know, we get that amnesia quick. We were never at war with the white liberal women. Please. See, but that's what they want you to do. They want you to discredit yourself through revisionist history. But I remember damn near all the stuff. I remember, look.
These are the most entitled Karens of all time. Let's begin. This Karen had an appointment with the dentist, except she wouldn't let them take her temperature, and for this reason they had to deny her service and asked her to leave the dentistry. This Karen went into a total meltdown, stating that it was illegal for them to deny her service, demanding to speak to the manager and claiming that she was going to take them to court. This Karen then goes on to argue what this dentistry is, claiming that they work for her and will do as they are told. Let's have a look. Staff member, which she instantly regretted when the staff member took her up on her offer, where they settled things outside in the parking lot. This didn't go well for the Karen, as the employee was obviously going to win this battle and put this Karen in her place. Let's have a look.
But there's no sauce on here. There's not. You show me the sauce. It's not here. You ate it, obviously. We ate it, but then here, but you ate more than that. Listen, y'all seen it, right? I didn't touch you. You touched me first. You did. Y'all seen that?
Yeah, I saw it. Thanks for watching, guys, and if you've enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to the channel and turn notifications on.
Black people were never at war with Karens.
You're the reason. Bye. Get out of my face. Bye. You came in my face. Bye. No, I keep stepping back. Now you're in my face. Bye. No, I was not. Bye.
we were never at war with Karen.
No, I'm not. You were in my face.
You're lying. You're trying to do revisionist history. Everyone remembers this. But now these two people are allies because they hate Trump. Hey, listen.
What you said?
I'm going to call the police in about 2 seconds. You're trespassing. It says no fishing, no trespassing.
But we got permission to be out here.
From who?
My friend lives out here. The police came by, ma'am, and they literally told us we can fish, clean up the spot.
Don't own this property.
But they told us we can fish. You literally seen them just leave off.
Yeah, we've got people trespassing on Bridgewater property now. And he's telling me the police just came by, which is false. It says no trespassing, no fishing. And they're on our property.
Give me the address where they are.
They're both black. One's got long dreads and the other one's got a short haircut with a beard. And they're holding the fish. And there are 2 signs there saying, one says no.
We know that these Karens, we know what they do.
Come on outside since you want to talk shit on the internet. Come outside, bitch. What are you doing in my house? You hurt.
Oh, this is fake.
The doorbell camera captured an unexpected.
A black man spoke out against a Ken being rude to a woman working at a deli counter.
Karen splits on him and gets instant karma.
Hey, come on, man.
Yo, chill.
Karen gets drenched in water for trespassing.
My yard. Fuck my foot. My yard.
Karen gets humbled quickly.
Very well.
Silence, children.
I don't like the way you call my grandpa a peasant.
Well, I'll call you a peasant as well to make it equal.
Karen gets mad when she got what she deserved.
Oh, this guy is not having this. Oh my gosh.
Are you for real? Really?
You've been kicking my chair.
You leaned your chair
I leaned my
back.
chair back as the chair leans back.
This lady tried to fight for no reason and got instant karma. Subscribe if you hate Karens. Karens.
Okay, so basically, all the people who are like, we hate Trump, Trump's evil and all that, you're just dealing with a coalition of Karens. And the people who have become so emotionally entangled with this whole situation that they've made themselves allies of Karen. The people who Karen was preying on, the people who Karen was trying to get arrested and sent to jail, now those people have become allies of Karen. And now they're going, because they all hate Donald Trump collectively. This is why we know that when you talk about the left is nothing more than a fragmented group of people who are just united through their hatred of Trump. That is it. Their delusion, their Trump derangement syndrome. They don't have any real reason. They just don't like him because the TV told them not to. And then that's exactly what we're doing. So people who have like sense, people are waking up, they're walking away from that party permanently. They're like, I don't want to deal with that. They're like, they don't want to live like this. They're sick of it. You know, it's no way. You can't have a life when you're constantly playing a victim. When you're constantly trying to find a way to say that somebody is hurting you or they're doing you wrong in some type of way. And guess what? More power to them. More power to them. I'm glad that they're finally waking up and seeing the light. Nah, LTZ, stop lying. High inflation. Come on. The only thing that's expensive right now, I would say, is gas. I was in the pharmacy the other day because I injured my leg doing jujitsu, and I had to buy some like icy hot patches. Icy hot patches are cheaper than they've ever been. I got like 6 or 7 of them for like $10. Those things are like $29. The prices used to be ridiculous on those things. Now they're super cheap. But like I said, listen, you don't have to believe me. What I would go by is the fact that no one who has all these problems can ever come up and just tell me, hey, bro, this is how Trump's administration is hurting me. They just can't. Groceries are out of control. Tell me the groceries that are out of control right now. Actually, rent is going down. Rent, as far as I can see, rent is going down. Rent is cheaper in my city. I would say rent has went down by about $200 or $300 where I live. So I don't know what you guys are talking about. Versus under Biden, everything was high. Everything. Rent was high. Groceries was high. Gas was high. Everything was high. So if you compare it to your 4 years before this, you're in a way better position. Yeah, icy hot patches are cheap, bro. These are things people use. 100 FPS Wolf, 100%. 100%. What are those dogs you got? Belgian Malinois? I have 2 Belgian Malinois myself. Yeah. Dude, everything was higher under Biden. I'm telling you, they have manufactured this discontent. Like everything's a problem. Oh, groceries are high. How the hell are you worried about groceries and you on EBT? That's the part. That's what's taking me out. Groceries so high, and then pulls out an EBT card.
Karen splits on him and gets instant karma.
And it's like, but in my mind, I just say this: be careful what you wish for, because when you lying and you making stuff up, you're gonna get exactly what you want. You're gonna get exactly what you're asking for, and I hope when you get what you want, it's as good as you think it's gonna be. Like my granny used to say, it's gonna tell on you before you tell on it. Keep lying. Keep throwing stuff out there. Oh no, it's horrible. It's okay. You gonna learn what horrible really is. You gonna learn what horrible really is. Is it horrible enough to where you want to go back to Biden? Because I'm living in California, and I'm looking at the liberals. I'm listening. I'm listening to what they're saying their plans are for America. Go to New York, go to Seattle, all these liberal cities, and you can see what Democrats are planning on doing with America. Let's throw out all these tax the rich policies. The rich then find a way to evade the policies. And next thing you know, guess what? You're paying it. The middle class is footing the bill. The middle class is footing the bill because we thought we were going to be able to get over on rich people. And we don't understand. The same politicians that are promising you that they're going to go after the rich on your behalf, who do you think is funding their campaigns? Let's be real. Who do you think is funding their campaigns? That's the biggest thing I don't understand. You think that the Democrat Party is going to tax billionaires and take their wealth when billionaires are the ones who fund their campaign? Like, somebody help me understand. What is their incentive for doing that? What is their incentive for doing that? Do you know that Democrats took the most billionaire money out of both political parties in the last election, in the past 10 elections? So just tell me. Like, why would someone bite the hand that feeds them? That's my question. Why would someone bite the hand that feeds them? It's a lie. They're lying to you. You think that they're going to get rid of the very entity that keeps them in power. They're not going to do it. I'll tell you what their real plan is. Their plan is to string you along with promises of tax the rich, right? While they slowly but surely flood this country with illegal immigrants. And once the illegal immigrants get in, they're going to try to give them the right to vote. And they're going to try to give them amnesty, right? And once those immigrants are given amnesty, they will be lifelong Democrats. And even if you form coalitions to stop them, the radical left with the illegal immigrants will be such a large force, there will be nothing you'll be able to do. They need one more component to take over this country and turn it into a third world, turn it into Europe. They need the mass influx of illegal immigrants, and they need to be able to give them the right to vote in our elections. And they're trying. And if you don't look, press 1. Give me a 1 if you believe that to be the strategy. Shout out to Krillin876. When are you doing a show with Big Herc from Prison Talks? I don't know. Big Herc. I've never been to prison, so I don't know what we even talk about. How to stay out of prison. Thank you, though. I appreciate that. Thank you. But think about that. Do you agree with what I'm saying? The goal is to flood the country with illegal immigrants, give them amnesty so they can vote, or just give them the right to vote. Once that becomes a voting block, that totally eliminates the black voting block, totally eliminates every other voting block except for the Caucasian voting block, which is basically split 50-50. So if 50% of Caucasians vote Republican, 50% of Caucasians vote Democrat, that immigrant voting block. With the descendants of immigrants or the citizens who share ethnic ties with these immigrants voting on their side too. See, they're trying to make like a three-part coalition that the pro-American, America First group will not be able to defeat. And I'll tell you, they're already doing that or attempting to do that in cities like Los Angeles, where I'm from. They're right now, they're proposing a bill that will give illegal immigrants the right to vote.
Would you let criminals stay inside your home for completely free?
Well, it depends on the criminal charge. Like, what is it, like grand larceny, or is it like petty theft, or is it like drug dealing, is it like weed smoke?
With all these illegal immigrants that have came to the country, what should happen to them if they did cross over the border illegally?
Nothing. I mean, Slay, Anna Delvey did it. Like, let's have people come in. The more the merrier. I mean, it does not say RSVP on the Statue of Liberty.
So how should people come into the country?
However they can. I mean, I think that also our immigration laws should be different too as well. I feel like they're a lot
easier to become
a
citizen.
And I want you to understand, there in California, that is a Hispanic woman who's trying to cosplay as a white woman. Her hair is dyed. She is Hispanic. He is Hispanic. And she's trying to pretend to be white. So don't think, oh, that's a white girl talking great. No, it's not. That's a Hispanic. In LA, I think they're downtown LA right now. And they're just like, yeah, let as many immigrants, doesn't matter criminal history, don't matter background, don't matter if they're murderers, rapists, or anything like that, just let them come in. That's their mindset. As a person who lives in LA County, I'm 15 minutes from LA right now in Long Beach, this is their attitude. They do not care about America. They care about more of us than you, so we can dominate the democratic process.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Would you sleep with your doors open?
I mean, no, I live in LA.
They're unlocked all the time.
I live in LA.
Would you let anybody sleep inside your house? No.
He sleeps in my house all the time. So, I mean, sure.
Okay, would you let a random stranger walk into your door in the middle of the night and stay inside your house for 4 years?
Well, we're lucky that America doesn't have any walls or doors.
And we're not in Murphy's Law yet, right? Or something like that. Or like martial law, where they like start just letting the army come in or whatever. I mean, I would have to get to know them. Like a good, hi, how are you? What's your name? But then after, I mean, it's always negotiable.
Do you know who Tom Homan is?
No, but I know Tom Holland.
Yeah, he's Tom Holland. He's quite the guy. And Tom Homan is the new border czar. So he's replacing Kamala Harris in her duties of the border. And he says he's going to stop the flow of illegal immigrants. Would you be willing to house migrants inside your home so they don't get deported?
I mean, yeah, if they vibe, why not?
However, Councilmember Hugo Soto Martinez, whose district includes Hollywood, Silver Lake, and Echo Park, introduced a motion to change the charter. That motion calls for amending the charter to allow the city council to expand voting to non-citizens for local elections like mayor and city council. He says it's too early to know if the proposal would include undocumented people as well as green card holders.
Boy.
This field is really important for everyone to come together, especially not just with my group, but with a whole coalition of people who see commonality in what is happening. For all the people, we need it.
Anti-ICE activists, take a look. They've taken over the checkout counters here at this Home Depot here in Westlake. We want to bring you in just a little closer. We're not going inside the store, but you can see that there are signs that say ICE out of the Home Depot. They've essentially stopped business here, and I want to bring in Priscilla. We were just...
So guys, listen, these protesters, I'm not going to say their race or ethnicity. They just went in a Home Depot right in LA over here, Westlake. They just said, you know what? We don't like the fact that ICE is in the city. So we're going to go in Home Depot and stop Home Depot from doing business. We're going to stand in the checkout line. So if you want to buy something, imagine you're a person who wants to buy something from Home Depot. You need light bulbs. You need a piece of plywood, you need some, and you go to buy something, and these people just say, F you, F your rights as an American. I don't like the rules of America. I don't like the rules of America. So I'm going to prevent you from making the purchase that you want to make. Guys, what part of freedom and unity and all, they want to take your right as an American to give a right and a privilege to someone who's not even an American. I was like, I wish I would have been in there. I would have been like, you got 30 seconds to get out of my damn way, or I'm going to put you out my way. And if they would have tried to jump on me, guess what? They would have got that fa. They would have got that fa. Was that Kendrick Lamar, how he say that? They would have got that fa. Because I don't have time to play with you. This is America. This is my country where I live. There are rules in this country. If you don't like those rules, get the hell out. And if you go to Mexico, you should see the way they doing the illegal immigrants, whooping them down. They jumping on the illegals over there. They're jumping on the illegal immigrants over there, attacking them. But we come to this country, and these people think they have a right to interfere with somebody's business because they don't like the rules of this country. Bro, the police should have arrested every last one of them.
Speaking here with Priscilla, you're with Democrats.
But this is the world y'all want to create. This is the world y'all want to create, where somebody could just decide, just because it's Tuesday and I don't like you, I can come infringe upon your rights. You celebrate it now, you cheer it on now, but wait until it's you. Wait, and you know my parents, my grandma and them, you know what they used to say? I used to be like, I don't understand this, and why you do this, and why this and that. They just used to say, keep on living. Keep on living. Because they knew, if you keep living, eventually you're going to be on the other side of this situation. Could you imagine? What if that was a black-owned business? How would you feel about it? Right? Home Depot, a lot of people work, do construction. They need to get the stuff and get out of there. But they feel they have the right to break the law because they're not happy with the law. This is wrong to do.
Democratic Socialists of Los Angeles. Priscilla, tell us what you guys are doing here.
Yeah, we are on International Workers' Day, halting for a moment.
Look at this person who's in it, Ann. Look at Ann. Infringe upon what rights? What do you mean? And see, I think these liberal people are a little bit slow. They don't understand that the ability to do commerce, to sell and buy, that's your right. You have a right to do that. If Ann was at the gas station and I said, you know what? I don't like this gas station owner because his hair is red, and I stood in front of her car so she couldn't pump her gas, she would have a problem with that. But because she doesn't go to Home Depot, she's like, that ain't infringing on nobody's right. Just ignorance. Ignorance. She's the person who will sell you up the river. I'm not blocking her. She has a right to be dumb. I can't infringe upon that. What right? So Ann thinks it's okay that because someone doesn't like the laws that have been on the books for 200 years, because someone doesn't like the law, they can block you from making a purchase at a store. They can interrupt what you're trying to do and what you got going just whenever they feel like it. Okay, Ann. All right, Ann.
A piece of profit that in the end will not affect the pockets of this billionaire's profit that he's making. And we're asking for them to end collaboration with ICE. This city is of migrants, and we are asking for them to stop allowing ICE in here and snatching day laborers.
They're not preventing commerce. Are you dense, Ann? They're literally standing in the checkout lanes. She literally just said they're stopping commerce. You didn't hear her say that? We're taking a moment to stop commerce to let them know. They're literally stopping commerce. She said it out of her own mouth, and they're standing through in the checkout lane. How do you buy products if you can't go through the checkout, Ann? Come on, Ann. You got to be smarter.
From their parking lots and inside their stores.
And Priscilla, we know that through all of the immigration enforcement that started back in June of last year, that Home Depots have been a target for that immigration enforcement. And I know that you want more rights for day laborers. Can you talk some specifics, what you'd like to see?
Well, and with a collaboration to ICE, obviously, for what we're aiming for in the long run is amnesty.
Yeah, so you see that, you heard that. Full mask off, right? This
is what she said. What we want in the long run is amnesty. That is their goal. They'll tell you ICE is abusing people. ICE is doing this, that, and the third, all this stuff. No. They don't care about what ICE is doing. They want amnesty for all illegals. That's what they want, so that those people can become a voting bloc and these radical leftists can take over the country. That's what they want. That's what they think is going to happen. It's all about amnesty. They're out there protesting ICE, trying to bust inside of federal buildings because they want to give these people amnesty. And if they tell you any different, they're liars.
Oppose the plan. Rob.
Yeah, Hugo Soto Martinez is hoping the upcoming November election could bring LA closer to letting non-citizens vote. It would only be in LA city elections, and he says it would most likely be years down the road if the council moves it forward. But the mere mention of it is drawing strong criticism. As the Trump administration rages about an unproven wave of illegal voters, one LA City Council member is hoping to make more potential voters legal.
Good morning, everyone. Buenos dias.
District 13 Councilman Hugo Soto Martinez wants non-citizen residents of Los Angeles to be able to vote in citywide elections.
We have folks living in this country who've been here 20 years. They've started a family. They pay their taxes. Many of them are homeowners, but they don't have a say over the policies that affect their children and their families on any given day. I know other cities have done it for local elections, but I want to see where the appetite is for this council.
That appetite leaving a bad taste in some mouths.
It just strikes people as fundamentally wrong.
Ira Melman is with the Federation for American Immigration Reform, FAIR. He says voting is a privilege and a right for citizens, and that non-citizen voting would go against what the founding fathers wanted.
The preamble to the Constitution says, we the people of the United States, not we the taxpayers of the United States, not we the people who just happen to show up here in this country, whether it's legally or illegally, that there are certain criteria. And that is the basic foundation of our republic.
Yeah, well, I mean, the goal of these Marxists is to dilute what it means to be a citizen of this country, right?
So a lot of people, if you say like these people hate America, they'll say, well, they don't hate America. They do hate America. They hate everything America stands for. That's why they want to destroy America. That's what socialism does. It destroys whatever country it takes root in. Look at Cuba. Look at China. Look at Russia right now. Socialism destroys every country where it takes roots. So if someone loved America, why would they want to implement a failed economic system in America? Why would they want to, like, America's been going strong for 200 plus years. America has created the greatest economy in the history of the world. Why would you say, hey, that's the wrong way to do it? As successful as it is, people will sit up and say, hey, that's the wrong way. Then you ask them, well, show me the right way. We can't show you the right way. We don't know. Socialism, everything is free. Everybody gets everything free. Well, we know that that's a lie. We know that that nothing is free in life. But let's just do it because it makes me feel good to say those words, to say socialism and Democrat socialism. That makes me feel good to say it. But I can't execute it in real time. I can't explain it. I'm looking at things like, dude, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Capitalism has lifted the most people out of poverty the fastest out of any economic system. Why would we go against that? Why would we go against that? Even the countries that people in Europe that people think are socialist, they're capitalist countries. They're just highly taxed capitalist countries with a capitalist economy. But oh no, we're going to change it. Some 21-year-old Mexican girl standing in front of Home Depot knows what's best for our economy. She can't even explain why she's standing at Home Depot, but she knows what's best for our economy. Just a bunch of useful idiots, man. That's what they are, just a bunch of useful idiots selling their country and their future down the river. But what I say is wait till they have kids. Wait till they got to go to work every day and provide for those kids. Then that's when you're going to see how much they're really willing to give. That's when you're going to see how much they're really willing to give. All Democrats do for blacks is a couple of social programs, then they pocket the rest. What programs? Please tell me the social programs that Democrats are installing for blacks. That's a lie, Jason. The Democrats aren't doing anything for black people. Only people Democrats are fighting for and doing stuff for are illegal immigrants. That's it. Now, because I have more money than white liberals, they want to take what I work for. They want to take it so they could give it to illegals and give them a soft landing place in America so they'll stay. That's their new voting bloc. Democrats know that they have no policies. So they have to throw a Hail Mary pass, which is allow 20 million illegal immigrants into the country. And then, okay, so let me explain this before I leave, right? Let me explain this before I leave. Democrats have no policies. So they run off of fear-based programming. Luis, I saw you come in. I tried to bring you up, but you disappeared. There's the link again. But anyway, Democrats have no policies. What Democrats campaign on is something called fear-based programming. It's where they scare you by telling you that if you vote for the other person, if you vote for the other person, that person's going to do something really bad to you that's going to hurt you, right? If they allow the illegal immigrants into the country, right? They then say, hey, if you don't vote for us, they're going to kick you out the country. If you give a bunch of illegal immigrants the right to vote, their number one issue that they're going to vote on, based on, is staying in the country. And the Democrats will have a captive voter bloc for the next 100 years. They know that. While they continue to let more people in the country, they will retain. It's like, I'll give you a perfect example. It's like the ANC in South Africa. The ANC has run South Africa into the ground, but they keep getting voted into power because those leaders say, hey, if you don't vote for us and you vote for the other side, the whites, they're going to put you back in apartheid. And every black person in South Africa fears being put back into apartheid. So they will continue to vote for the ANC no matter how bad the ANC treats them, no matter how much the ANC steals, no matter how much the ANC destroys the economy. They took South Africa from a first world country to a third world country, and people will still vote for them because people are so scared of apartheid. The history of it. Luis, Roman, what's up?
What's going on, Brandon? Shout out to the chat and everything. And yeah, for sure, man. I think that this is a moment where people definitely need to wake up and realize that in this country, a lot of people have been teaching and learning bad habits, right? We cannot be having, a bunch of places just say, oh, sign your paper here. We're going to give you a $5 gift card or $5 for you to go and use it on drugs, or we'll give you a drink or an alcoholic beverage, or I've seen all different kind of videos. We can't be having all these false names or fake names or people that pretty much shouldn't be allowed to vote in our country. That is something very, very concerning. That is a bad practice that
Honestly,
sorry. Wait, I can't hear you. You're muted.
Sorry about that. Go ahead.
So, yeah, man, it's a bad habit, and it has only taught others to do more fraudulent things. I don't like the fact that there's another thing that I don't like, right? When it comes down to these staffing agencies or
wait, real quick, before you
ahead.
go to the next point, I want you, because what you said with the thing about giving the $5 gift cards for drugs and all that stuff, I want to show really quick this clip. There's a lady in LA named Nithya Raman. She's in the lead right now to become mayor of Los Angeles, right? This lady admitted on live that she was giving hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions actually, of taxpayer dollars to drug addicts so they could do drugs.
Because this woman's ideas. Nithya Raman, okay, this is the socialist that's running to the left of Karen Bass, right? We're going to talk about her. We're going to get into her. She has some very, 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 very bad ideas, right?
Jason, you send it, I'll ban them.
She is the worst of what these democratic socialists believe. And the crazy part is that we got all this on tape, right? And Spencer Pratt is pointed out, like, for example, he pointed out how she admitted to giving drug addicts billions of dollars who are basically going to use it to buy more drugs, right? He posted this.
That's right. You're spending $1 billion giving money to drug addicts who are buying drugs with the money, and you know that.
well, yes.
That's right.
Well, yeah. Look, this is what I'm telling you. They want more of your money. This is why the rich don't want to get taxed by these people. They know what they're going to do with their money.
Right. And Spencer Pratt
Spending $1 billion giving.
she admitted to buy more drugs, right? He posted this.
That's right.
You're spending $1 billion giving money to drug addicts who are buying drugs with the money, and you know that.
Well, yes. That's right.
You're spending $1 billion giving money to drug addicts who are buying drugs with the money, and you know that.
Well, yes.
Yeah, you're right, right? That's exactly what we're doing. Okay.
So I just wanted to highlight what you were saying is totally true. They're taking your money, they're giving it to drug addicts so they can buy more drugs, and they know that that's what's going on with it, but they're still screaming, tax the rich, pay their fair share. So you want us to keep giving you your money, or you want us to keep giving you our money when you've already proven that you're bad stewards of our finances, and you're not saying we're going to stop doing that. You just say, well, yeah, that's what I'm doing. That's it. Go ahead.
Yeah, facts. And I've seen all these videos, and it's crazy to me how the government lied to people, and the type of system that we're running, in this country is nasty work, man. I really don't get it. Now, as far as like the job agencies and things like that, I would never understand why we have so many foreigners trying to get in contact or getting in contact with American people for American jobs. It honestly should be the other way around. We should be in the job agency, right, as Americans, finding the talent and then putting those people to work. That's what I believe. But I don't understand the system that they've created. Another thing is we don't know how safe those staffing agencies or companies are, as far as like security network and that things like that. We got to provide social security or ID or copies of those things. And then we don't know if they're sharing it somewhere, if somebody's going to hack their computers or servers and get that information. There's a lot of bad stuff that basically doesn't equal to the good, right? When it comes down to just getting a job and things like that. It's currently a bad thing. I think that companies are doing, going to third parties like that, because obviously they should have a talent acquisition human resources should be doing their job. They should be directly hiring people, to help the economy, to help everyone in this country. But unfortunately, we don't have that.
What they should be doing is they should be running it through the government funded university systems. You come to the university for training in all areas of expertise, and when the companies go to look to give jobs, they have to give X amount of jobs to people coming out of these programs, right? So say you want somebody to do cybersecurity. Why, if there's a multi-billion-dollar university sitting right here called UCLA, why isn't it possible for people right in LA to go to UCLA to learn cybersecurity and then have a pipeline from UCLA, right, that goes straight to the companies, the American companies that need the cybersecurity, or even foreign companies that operate here? Instead, we have a pipeline from India to American companies that need cybersecurity. It's all about, one, profit. Two, it's about being able to hold workers hostage in those positions for fear that they may be deported if they go try to find a better job, or they quit or demand higher pay. It's really just about having a captive workforce, and it should be illegal, and it's wrong, and we need to pass legislation to stop it.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. That's why it is a good thing that, I don't know if it is going to happen or how it's going to work, because that's going to be obviously behind scenes or out of our eyesight. But I do like the fact that the Trump administration definitely did say, oh, we're going to start, I don't know if it's a fine or simply making companies pay for hiring H-1 visas and that sort of thing. And all this.
They're going to make them pay more. They're going to make them give like 100,000 for everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, they have to. Absolutely. Because what we're doing as a country is, we were so great at, during the Great Depression, right? If you go through American history, this country stood up through through the Great Depression in America, and we were able to build. We were able to have so many great engineers and everything. And it seems like instead of us focusing on getting more engineers or getting our students or our youth ready to become the next best thing, we are almost depending on foreigners, a lot of foreigners that are engineers and things like that, or doctors and things like that. So I feel like we don't do a great job in developing. I can't say we're not good at not developing the skill.
We're not developing talent. We can, but we're just not doing it.
Right, we're just not doing it. The system is failing.
It's like if you play sports, right? Like say you go, because I play football. So say you go to college to play football. There's some schools that are just using you to win games, right? Then there's some schools who are like, no, we're developing you so you could potentially go to the NFL. So we run like a pro style offense, a pro style defense. We teach you the ins and outs of these different, schemes and stuff. There's the other school where they're just running you so you be in condition. Here's the playbook. Go out there and play, right? That's America. We're not training talent to take the jobs that are going to be in demand in the future. We're just kind of like creating, we just created 700,000 jobs. Well, were those Walmart jobs, or were those like jobs that will actually like allow you to like go up the economic ladder? Real quick, I want to address this. This Ann said, got it. Brandon is part of the elite and still believes trickle down works. A broke ideal, right? But here's the thing, Ann, you're not thinking about it. Allowing mass immigration actually helps elites. Elites want to hire those people working for pennies on the dollar. Microsoft, Google, they want to get engineers from India so they can pay them $27 an hour. So if I go against Microsoft and Google, the real elites, and say, no, you need to hire American workers and pay them a livable, fair wage, that's not elitism. That's fighting against the elites. The elites are using people like you, Ann, to make it easier for them to get cheap slave labor because you think you're helping someone by letting them come to America unimpeded, but that person is coming into America and being given a low wage job, and now that's taking a high wage job from an American citizen. So you really don't know what you're talking about, and that's okay, but I'm just letting you know you don't even know how to recognize someone who's actually elite or supporting elite. Go ahead, Luis.
Yeah, facts. Those are all facts. And that's the problem that we're having right now. As we talk about it, as AI is even taking some jobs from American people, there are jobs that American people can't even get because the American employers or contractors, etc., they're hiring about 20 people for the pay of maybe 8. Right? Instead of paying 8 people, they pay the same amount for 20 people just to get the job done a lot faster. And that's terrible. That's a very terrible thing. We are overpopulated. We have plenty of people in this country, great people that have great skill and that know how to get the job done. The problem is capitalism. You know, that's the main problem. It seems like everybody's say, for instance, like big companies, they can deal with certain things, but small contractors, for the most part, they have to find a way to find, leverage and be able to make the most profit for themselves.
Wouldn't small business be capitalism also?
Right, that's what I'm saying. So that's why I call it capitalism, because they're looking for the best profit. They're looking to get as many contracts as possible, cheap labor.
What system would you say will work better than capitalism?
Man, we need to change. We need to start by the school system. We need to start with the school system. We need to make sure that our youth is not stuck with a student loan of a trade, of an electrician, plumbing, barber type of trade. We need to put that stuff back in high school. We need to start developing skills in high school. These kids need to be able to start working right away once they come out of high school, and then they decide whether they want to study law, which is one of the most important things now in America, and it always been. I would say, because if you want to start your own business or even take care of your family, take care of yourself, you got to know the law. So that's very important. You could be working right after you learn your trade and still be going back to college or continue your education. Right. So we definitely need to start there. That is something that American people need to really come together for, because these institutes and small third-party education stuff, for a certification or trade, back in the day, it wasn't like that. High schools had all the trades, or most of them, and a lot of kids were able to learn that stuff, and then they were able to proceed with having a job or career in their life. And that helps them become entrepreneurs, because if they do that for a number of years straight, then and if they save their money, they're financially stable or smart, then they can start their own business. You know what I mean? So I think that we definitely need to start there. That's a given right there. But again, it is what it is. People got to come together and actually figure things out instead of pointing the finger or and blaming everything. We need to learn how to come together with ideas and take action on them, because pointing the finger and doing this and doing that, it's not going to help. I mean, it really isn't. And the other thing I wanted to talk about or just mention is someone just said it, I'm second generation American. Man, listen, I'm actually like probably fifth generation, but that's not here or there. Like that's not really a thing. I'm originally from Philadelphia, and I've been living in California for 3 years, and I can honestly tell you the system out here I come from the ghetto, all right? And let me tell you, the system out here is terrible. I'm not too sure how people feel about it, but I feel like everything is divided. There's no diversity to say. You don't see people of different diversities together, like New York and things like that. you actually see a division. Okay, you have East LA. You have.
Where are you? Are you in California?
Yeah, I'm in the last part of LA County.
Yeah,
right
see,
now.
so you're like Imperial. Oh no, last part of LA County. What would that be
like? City of Industries, El Monte, Whittier. Like
Whittier,
that last
yeah,
part of
yeah.
On that side.
Before you go into the valley.
Right. There you go. Yeah, but
okay.
but again, I've been in Glendale, Pasadena. I've seen a lot of stuff. I've seen a lot.
The thing is, okay, so one with the capitalism thing. Okay, I think capitalism is still the best solution. The problem is we're just giving we're operating like socialists when it comes to large corporations. We're giving them way too much like corporate welfare, just not sticking closely to the laws of capitalism. Like with Spirit Airline, Trump offered to bail them out for $500 million. They're based on the laws of capitalism. We have to let or allow Spirit Airline to fail so that another airline can take their place, right? So I don't think capitalism is the problem. I think we've abused capitalism and we've actually allowed too much socialism into our system. Then people argue like welfare and this stuff. We can still give humanitarian aid in like government programs to help people who are poor without giving welfare to corporations. That's what we need to eliminate as far as that. Corporations should be made to stand on their own 2 feet and have to solely rely on doing good business to survive. Now, with LA, the unity issue here is
California, I would say it's not just LA. I mean,
California, period. The problem with California is you have people. A big thing I believe are like the Mexican mafia, the cartels and all that. You have people who are American citizens, and I would say like this is prevalent among like Hispanic people. You're an American. America is the country where you're born and raised. I love you as an American. I accept you as a brother. You're a citizen. But you can't have like a mindset where you're like, I'm willing to break the rules and like bend the rules of American law because I sympathize with someone who's breaking the law. And that takes place in both communities, mine and yours. Black folks, we sympathize with criminals. I don't know why we do that. They destroy our neighborhood. We're talking about free the homie fast and, bump Trump. We hate, we have this disdain for law and order, and we sympathize with criminals. Even black people who are successful, who they won't live in the hood, but they'll make an excuse for a criminal destroying the hood in a heartbeat. In the Hispanic community, I would say that it's more like you guys don't really sympathize with criminals, but you do sympathize with people who are coming over just like trying to make a better life. A lot of people sympathize with that. And it's like, I understand that, but it's like those people still need to come in the right way. They still got to follow the law. Just like with black people. I understand that shows sister, baby mama, cousin, uncle. I understand that you grew up with Lil Pookie shooting up the neighborhood, but bro still has to abide by the law. And we all have to learn how to stand with each other across all the lines for what's right versus, bend the rules because this is my friend or my cousin or because, my parents were immigrants, so I sympathize with all immigrants. That's cool. But these are the rules. And if we come together based on just doing what's right all the way around, that's when the unity will start. That's kind of like why New York and them stick together a little more, because New York is more full of immigrants. So they like all have a shared experience. But I think if
New York has less immigrants.
No, 75% immigrants. When it comes to people who are like the children of immigrants,
I mean, as far as descendants, but they're American citizens.
Yeah, descendants.
Okay,
Yes.
I'm talking about immigrants that are illegal.
Oh no, and that's what I'm saying. If we I wouldn't give a damn if the person's Haitian, even African. If your ass is here illegally, get the hell out. That's how I feel. Right? Yeah. And I go to Africa and do many things in Africa. I own property in Africa. I don't care if the person was from There was a person in Kenya. They asked me to help them write a letter so they could get a visa to come to America. Somebody I know very well. I said, I'm not writing you no damn letter because I know if you touch American soil, you ain't getting back on the plane to go back. I told him we haven't talked to this day. His name is Frederick. We haven't talked to this day. And he's one of the first people I met when I first went to Africa. But I'm not writing a letter because he told me, oh, my brother, if I ever get to America, I'll never come back. He told me he made that mistake. Then all of a sudden he's pressing me, come on, please write me a letter, help me get over it. I said, no, because I would have to vouch for you. Right. And I know trouble, you ain't, right? You might, I don't know, but I know I'm not going to help someone who's already planning on breaking the law. Now, how many people would have been like, that's cool, whatever. Nah, I'm not a part of that. You want to come, do it the right way. If there's a legal white immigrant or a legal Hispanic immigrant that did the process and they're right there in the line, no black illegal immigrants should be able to jump in front of them and come into the country. I don't believe in that. And if we stick to those values across the board, America will be fine.
For sure. Yeah, that's why I don't understand this whole ICE protesting. Is crazy. I can understand as far as because of their descendants and things like that or the past. But hey, we're in 2026, man. If these people just want to allow the governor, the mayors, and people just to commit fraud, steal from their pockets, and just only protest Trump.
They don't need to be here.
They're no good.
They're no good
to the state. They're uneducated. They're voting for no reason because they're not even protesting the person that they voted for to resign. So it's like, where are we going? We're going straight down. I mean, the fraud schemes have been at an all-time high. Homeless is everywhere, digging through trash cans. This is not a golden state.
Look at the Somalis in Minnesota. Oh, you should support us because we're black. No, you guys are stealing. Therefore, I want you deported. And let me tell you what's funny. I talked to Somalians in Africa. I was in Africa talking to Somalians. Sucker Season LA, he's in the comments right now. Sucker Season. What did that lady tell you she would do if she knew who was doing the fraud? He had a Somalian lady tell him, she said, if the U.S. comes here and asks me to point out the guys who are doing fraud in America and what they were building here, she said, I would tell on them. Because if you go to even if we go to Mexico or wherever, those people have a certain value system over there, right? A proud Hispanic person, a proud Mexican wouldn't even dare try to come into America illegally because they have pride in where they're from. And if they want to come over, they'll go through it the legal process. The people who break the law to get what they want, in my mind, they're not trustworthy people. Black, blue, green, whatever. You can't trust them. Even if they do cheap work, it'll be so cheap you'll constantly be redoing it, right? and you know that. So it's just like people. Somebody said right here, what if the person has been here what if a person overstayed their? Oh, right here. What if a person overstayed their visa? They also have a good job and pay taxes, stay out of trouble. Would you be willing to help them out at least? No, I would be willing to send them right back to where they came from.
Yeah,
give that.
The law's the law. You gotta.
The law's the law. The law's
what you're doing.
Bro, that's what people don't understand. Yes, they might be doing well in America.
People here act like other countries would forgive us.
No,
they're not.
No,
they're not.
In Mexico, they are having riots against immigration. They are like fighting with the illegals, throwing them out, bro. And even in Kenya, I'm black. I own property there. Let me overstay my visa. I will be arrested. I will sit in a little dirty ass Kenyan jail for like 15, 20 days or until I bribe my way out. They will put me on a plane and send my ass back home. And then they'll ban me from coming back into the country. See, this is the law. This is called sovereignty. You come in the right way or you don't get in. That's it. And the problem is there might be 10 people who are just really good people. But what about the cartel member? What about the rapist? What about the murderer that slips through the cracks? You don't do that. You don't let anyone into your country without vetting. I don't really care what color they are. Like that guy, that black dude who killed that lady with that hammer. I forgot what city that was in, but it's recently. The lady was a clerk at
the 7-Eleven or gas station, right?
Did you see that? And the dude was hitting her car. Yeah, the
nasty.
dude was hitting her car with the hammer. She goes outside to like, hey, stop hitting my car. Bro walks up and just kills her. Dude was a Haitian immigrant or something like that. He should have, illegal too. He should have never been allowed in this country. That woman would be alive today if we would just stick to our laws. They're there for a reason, to protect us. It don't matter how sorry you feel for somebody. If you ain't going to go watch that person 24 hours a day to make sure they ain't out here going crazy doing something, then no, they need to stay on the other side of that border. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Brandon. You know, when you mentioned all of these countries that ended up with socialism, we're headed in that direction. We're going from a first world country to a third world country, and the news, you know, have the evidence. They're showing you what's happening in the country, world, you know, nationwide. You know,
Right.
these people that are not supposed to be here committing crime, killing our citizens, hardworking citizens. I mean, it's crazy, man. It's just crazy work, man.
Yeah, that happened. That situation happened in Miami. That makes me feel bad. And I believe the lady who died was Hispanic. I think she was Cuban. It's wrong. That hurts me that an American has to live in fear, because it's like illegal people who shouldn't even be here are like, we got our own problems, right? We don't need those problems enhanced or exacerbated by people who just like, why do we have to worry about that? That's like a fish having to run away from a tiger. Tiger shouldn't even be in the ocean. You know what I'm saying? Like, I already got to worry about the sharks and the whales. Now I got to worry about this motherfucker up here. Like, that's how I look at that. Like, just stay in your country. And here's the thing. This is what I always say. If these people were so great and they were such a benefit, why don't they improve their own country?
Bro, facts. I was listen, man, I have this thing. I don't mean to point the finger or come at nobody, but it's
say
like,
what you want to say. You have freedom of speech. Say whatever you feel.
I always say Puerto Rico is 100 by 35. That's where I'm from. I'm Puerto Rican. I was born in Philadelphia, but my people is originally from Puerto Rico, right? It's only 100 by 35. It's an island, right? But we try to take over the world with music, with whatever. It's not just reggaeton, even salsa, even sounds in Japan. Okay. And when you look at Mexico, how big it is, that's exactly the question. Why is it so big, but at the same time, not so many things come out of there, if you know what I mean? Like, not a lot of engineers or things like that. And it's kind of weird. I think honestly, it's a huge mystery to figure out. It's gonna be funny when they apparently are gonna go over from physical currency to digital, because apparently that's what she mentioned, that president over there,
Sheinbaum.
She wants to do, or whatever.
She's a total communist. Yeah.
If people don't protest that, what are they gonna do when the network goes down, or whenever an emergency happens, there's an outage? How are they gonna pay? You know what I mean?
You know they're gonna steal. It's gonna get so bad. But you know, with this people like her, what they do is like they created like these little welfare systems in Mexico where it's kind of like our welfare system, but obviously it ain't getting to like as many people. And that's how Sheinbaum and the leaders bought the civilian votes. They created these little social programs. So now they know people will never vote against them because, one, they'll kill all the opposition, and two, people don't want to give up the few social programs and government entitlement programs that they have. It's like the Mexican people were just bought, but they were bought for very low price, for cheap. You know, like, oh, we'll give you $300 a month and call that welfare, right? And they're like, well, I don't want to lose my $300 a month, so I better keep voting for Sheinbaum's party. It's
Right.
so bad. And there's so many parallels between what goes on in these third world countries and my community, black community in America is crazy. That's why I said, like, living in a black community in America is like living in a third world country, because it's the same type of thinking, the same kind of like toxic guarding of like certain resources or entitlements that we receive that really just work as an anchor to hold us down to the bottom, bro. I couldn't imagine trying to live now on a welfare check. But then I know there are people who absolutely refuse to get a job so that they could keep that little peanuts, that welfare is given. Let me get this one comment and then I'll get your final thoughts. Already, so Bob Caddy is saying that basically he's saying they've already ostracized black men from homes for welfare checks. They're unaliving the unborn children. They've basically they've already attacked biological women. They don't even exist don't exist. That's what they're telling them. And now they're saying the white dudes are toxic. So he's saying who's left, and then he says, "Oh yeah, the president." So what Bob Caddy, right? So what Bob Caddy, it stood out to me, so I had to read. So what Bob Caddy essentially is saying is like they've made an enemy out of every other member of society. These deranged liberals, men are toxic. The children, having children is bad. That little babies, they done made little babies evil. Now that they've made biological women evil. Now the only person they have left to attack or fearmonger you over is the president. It used to be Kim Jong-un. It used to be Putin, right? Now they're like, nah, we're gonna turn the president into the boogeyman, right? Our president, the person we elected, is the boogeyman. He got 70, damn near 80 million votes, but all he wants to do is destroy all the people who voted for him. It doesn't even make sense. But if they can get you, if they can make you hysterical, radicalize you with that, they'll try. But Bob Caddy, great comment. I get exactly. Oh, she's a woman. Okay, my Miss Lady, ma'am. I don't know what to call you. Okay, you're very wise and very smart. She had the best comment of the day because that hit. Even you laughed. Because that comment was like right.
Yeah, that was good. That
comment was right on the money. Like
she's right. She's right.
She's right.
That's absolutely right.
That has
been happening for the past 8 to 10 years.
No, that's been happening since 1960, since civil rights.
Damn.
Like that's where they got the black dudes out the home, and that's when they started the mass abortion of black kids. Like right. Planned Parenthood, all that. Sticks and Stones LA said, facts. He's talking about the Somalian woman in Kenya. Facts. She did tell me they was running fraud, and she had an entire apartment high rise being built too. Yeah. And they had an entire apartment high rise being built. So yeah. So the money from the Somalians was going to East Africa, and they were sinking it into high rise apartment buildings, so they could kind of like hide it, right? Like, well, we built this building. What you gonna do? Tear down the building? But yeah, so even the Somalians there knew that the Somalians here were doing fraud, and they're kind of like pissed off about it because it's like, bro, I've been working hard all my life. You swoop in with American fraud money, and you buying up the shit I've been working 10 years, 20 years
dreaming of the shit that we've been dreaming of, and they just get it in what 2 years?
Bam, with fraud money. Yeah, but any final thoughts, Luis? We about to end this thing.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I just want to say this. I want people out there to know, I want your audience to know that the real Latino community is not racist. We don't teach that in our homes. And there's plenty of countries that speak Spanish that are, Latin countries that do have people of color. In fact, if you go down to Puerto Rico, we actually, if you look up bomba y plena, that is coming from our African roots. And that's something that till this day, over 400 years, we still do the dances and play the musical instruments that they used from barrels back in the day. We still follow that culture. So I want people to understand that, if you might live in a place where it might seem that those so-called Latinos, Hispanics, look at you the wrong way, speak to you the wrong way, that we're not all like that. There's over 13 Spanish-speaking countries, but all love, man, to you, to the people, and to the chat. So I love you guys.
Nah, shout out to you, man. Hey, you and Cali like me, so you understand the vibes. But it's very hard to speak on the situation because you don't want to offend, the entire group. And when I say what I say, I definitely know, and why I speak to Hispanic people is because I know you guys have a conservative culture like we do. You guys know what's right, what's wrong, and like you said, the true like Latino community, they're gonna vote based on what makes it better for them to go work hard and receive the profits for what they work for. That's why they left those other places years ago, decades ago, so they could come to the land of the free. So they also fear having their freedom stripped away in the name of like toxic empathy or whatever. So I understand we definitely have a lot of room to come together and like fight for the same thing. So I definitely acknowledge that. So we know when we say it, we're not talking about all. Just like if you say, well, black people, I know you ain't talking about all black people. I know you talking about the ones who doing that ignorant stuff you talking about. And I know exactly who they are. So I ain't going to act up.
The last thing I want to say is I miss my hood. I miss the ghetto. This is boring to me out here.
Right.
I used to love being able to live 2 hours away from New York and not even visit New York. I would stay in Philly. You know what I mean?
Right.
I would love to hit the block, to salute people, to kick it on the stoops or the stair, the steps outside my grandma's home with the black community, with my black friends, play basketball, like you said, football, having great conversations and just being able to obviously you run into bullshit, but that's everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah.
That's everywhere, bro. And honestly, I miss Philly a whole lot, bro.
No, yeah. No, yeah, because especially where you living now, because you living out like a little bit. Yeah. So, but yeah, I get it. And it's so crazy that, it's sad that you have to leave the hood, because I live in the same city, but I don't live in the hood where I grew up. And it's just like, yeah, it's sad that, it became so dangerous that I would be an irresponsible parent to raise my kid there. Like I love it so much, but it's like if something happens, I'll never forgive myself because I know shit can go left there. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we just got to do something. I want the hood to not be like, I want to remember the good times, the bad times, and then I want to go to the hood and be like, damn, man, I got 3 businesses in the hood and they're doing well. And people around are like, you know what I'm saying? I would love that. That's why I bought in my, city where I grew up, because I'm like, I gotta have a footprint here forever. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, damn, you can't even, it's hard to even move around in the same old spaces just for fear of what might happen. But man, Philly to California, that's a big jump, man. That's a big jump.
Yeah, definitely is. But yeah,
but it's good to have you.
For letting me speak my mind, and thank you so much for bringing in great content and talking, speaking up, bro, because a lot of that's what I see, that a lot of people out here definitely like to keep their mouth shut and just keep walking or not care about the important things that need to be spoken about. So thank you.
Thank you. Bro. All right, keep watching. Hey, all right, yeah. And if you haven't, guys, like, share, and subscribe. Energy Lives says he said, in Kenya, Brandon's driver told me that the Somalians were causing so much problems in that old neighborhood. He said they were worse than Nigerians. Hey, Somalis are cool, man. I got some Somalis I work out with in Kenya. They cool, man, but that ain't gonna absolve the fraudsters from me going after them. That's the thing, man. There's a scripture in the Bible that says those whom he loves, he chastises, right? Those who he loves, he disciplines, right? If I don't come at you when you on some BS, that means I don't really fuck with you. I don't really care about you. If I come at you and I'm like, hey, you know you wrong, woo, that means I at least give a damn about what's going on with you. So even if I talk about a Hispanic or a Mexican, no, I have no issue with the Hispanic community. I know it's like somebody telling you, now you was raised better than that. Like, that's the equivalent of that. I know y'all know better. I know y'all see the way shit is in Mexico and South America, and I know y'all don't want it to be like that in America. So when you out here trying to vote for somebody who like, yeah, let's open the borders, I know you know better than that. That's why I'm coming at you, because I know you know the potential downside. So why are you letting yourself get emotionally charged, manipulated to the point where you're ready to destroy our beautiful country and make it like the country that you don't want to live in? Damn all that, and the same like when I see a black person doing some crazy shit. I ran into a dude the other day pulling his damn pants down on the street, a black dude, whole ass out. He pulling his pants down, just acting crazy. I said, bro, pull your damn pants up. You know better than that. He was like, sorry. He pulled his pants up and started walking down the street. That's just me. I'm going to call it out. And I expect you to call me out if I'm doing something wrong. That's called holding each other accountable. And that's how you move forward. That's where growth takes place, guys. But thank you so much for watching this. I appreciate everything you do for me and this channel. Till the next time, take care of yourselves. But most importantly, please take care of each other. Peace.